Oh my god, that looks like that could be my mugshot. Hold on. That was something, wasn't it? My name is Jocelyn from Cheeky DIY Home, and I love all things home decor and DIY. I especially love an affordable DIY, and especially if it's a hack. Now, this month I am reviewing Faux Brick Wall. Last month I reviewed Faux Shiplap, which was washi tape versus Sharpie shiplap. So if you missed it, go check it out. But today we're talking about Faux Brick Wall, and it's not your standard Faux Brick Wall. I'm not using power tools. I'm not using paneling or anything like that. I am literally just using spackling paste, tape, a sponge, pencil, a level, and some paint that I have. So my biggest cost in this was having to buy spackling paste, and that cost me around $18 add tax. This wall cost me $20 because all the rest of the stuff I had, and the rest of the stuff really are things that you should have, or you would be resourceful and have it later on. Now, for the actual standard DIY, it would have cost me $100 itself for this wall because I would have needed 2 panos, and they run around $38 a pano at tax at around $40 or so. And I needed 2 of those and joint compound or spackling paste if I wanted. So that would be around $100 for that DIY. This is a quarter of the cost. Now, how to do this DIY. You should know that my brick is 8x3. I created a template. First, I marked off my walls by going down the line 4 inches down and going across 9 inches. And I did that because I accommodated for the fact that my tape is 1 inch. So I marked off my lines, and then I used my level to tape it off. Well, I created lines literally across and basically down and away, and I taped it off. After that, once you tape it off, you can apply your spackling. You just literally go in whatever direction works best for you with the spackling and add the texture however way you like. I generally do recommend applying more spackling across the edges where the tape meets. That way it creates more of a jagged look. After you apply your spackling, you want to remove your tape basically once you're done with your spackle process. So once your whole wall is complete, remove it while it's still wet so that it doesn't peel on any excess of your brick, and it's honestly less messier. After you remove your tape, you want to let this dry overnight, and then you can start painting. When you paint, I just literally dabbled it with the sponge. You may risk getting it on your grout line. Just paint over with your grout line color. And then after that, you whitewash. When you whitewash, you basically just have like 25% of your white paint and 75% of water, basically. You mix this up, grab a dry rag, an old rag, and apply it. Okay, so once you whitewash it, you're basically close to done. You can choose to be done. When you whitewash, you really want to make sure you whitewash the areas that you choose not to paint over, because that whitewash will at least add some layer of protection over that spackling paste. So that at least will add some layer of protection there. I do recommend it 100% whitewash this at least. And then you have the option of polyurethaning this. I did not on this one. However, I probably will discuss more about this in the blog post when I test that out as well. But you do risk likely yellowing this or changing the color of your paint. So I recommend if you do test this out, try it out with the color and see if it changes significantly, and if you want to proceed with that. If anything, just apply more whitewash to the areas. Now for the actual review of this. This is clearly affordable. This allows you to be super creative. It's really beginner friendly. It doesn't require much skill out of you. You basically just need to use a level and create your straight lines, and then apply accordingly with your paint and spackle. But you should also know this requires patience. Like 100% requires patience. You could obviously get aggravated with this. Basically, I felt like I was getting a little annoyed when I was taping because there's just so many little tapes that you have to apply, and it takes a while. But in the long run, if you like this, it could be totally worth it for you. You should also know that this is kind of more on the permanent side of things. Think of it as if you're actually applying brick in a way, just like completely much cheaper. If you wanted to like remove this, sanding it, I don't really think is the greatest option because you likely would just wreck your drywall. 2, your best bet with this would just be replacing your drywall. However, I do see this working in many different surfaces. This area that this wall is done in is actually in an unfinished area in my basement. It has drywall in this area, but so many of my other walls are poured foundation. So I can replicate this same process in my basement to have it match and look as if, make it look like I actually have brick as my foundation for this area. You can also use this as a backdrop, a mock-up piece, you know, for a product. Yeah, those are really like some of the options I thought of that you could use it for, but I don't see why you can't use this on paneling. Those are your options with that as well. You should also know that this gets obviously messy. Make sure you're wearing clothes that you don't care too much about, and make sure you're protecting your floors. Also, I wanted to bring up, when you're comparing this to wallpaper, this does allow you to create the texture and dimension. You can play with it, you can add more to it, whereas wallpaper is generally not texture. If it is textured, it's much more expensive. And then comparing it to paneling, you aren't dealing with seams. This can go flush all throughout. You're in control of that, whereas when you have that paneling, you have that battle of the seams. So those are just my few little insights on that. And yeah, if you found this helpful, if you found this beneficial, let me know. I hope this gives you some insight. Give this a thumbs up, a like, anything like that, just to let me know you appreciate this, you learned some knowledge on this, and yeah. See you next month for the next review. Thanks.